Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about the Indian Super League, or ISL as it's known to fans.
Yeah.
You know, we love diving deep into the data here, and today we're going to be figuring out which teams have been historically strong and just get a sense of like what makes a team really stand out in this league.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it should be interesting. We've got a pretty cool chart in front of us that we're going to be kind of bouncing off of today. It combines a bar graph showing all-time points per game, or PPG, with a scatter plot that maps those points against total matches played.
Right.
Having both these views together is it gives us a much richer understanding, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Because while a team's PPG tells us a lot about their performance on the field, if they're scoring goals, winning matches, considering their experience, how many matches they've actually played, it gives us a really valuable layer of context.
Right, exactly, because you could have a team that's at the top, but they've only played 10 matches.
Exactly.
It wouldn't really, hold up against a team that's been there since, the beginning.
Right, exactly.
So right away, I'm drawn to this this powerhouse at the top of our chart here. Mohun Bagan Supergiant, clocking in at a cool 1.9 points per game. That's seriously impressive.
Yeah.
To put that into perspective for our listeners, what does a 1.9 PPG average really say about a team?
Yeah.
How good is that?
Yeah. Well, think of it this way. In most leagues, consistently hitting above 2 points per game is considered the mark of a true contender, a team that's going to be really challenging for that title.
Right.
And Mohun Bagan Supergiant, they're right there. They're, knocking on the door of that, elite level of performance. So
yeah,
definitely a team you do not want to underestimate.
Oh, that really drives home their dominance. So now shifting our focus a bit, I'm seeing a whole bunch of teams kind of clustered around that 1.3 PPG mark. Familiar names like Jamshedpur FC, Kerala Blasters FC, Chennai FC. They're all right in the mix. It makes you wonder, what factors contribute to those subtle but crucial differences in performance.
You hit the nail on the head, and this is where, analyzing data like this gets really interesting because you've got these teams with, slightly different PPGs, but they've also played, different numbers of matches. And that's where PPG as a metric, I think, really shines because it helps us to compare, apples to apples, so to speak. It allows us to see how consistent a team has been, regardless of whether they're, a seasoned squad or they're, a relatively newer addition to the league.
Right. It's like the great equalizer in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah, it helps us make sense of kind of the performance across the board. So, love it. So I'm curious about this little outlier kind of hanging out all by itself down here on our scatter plot. Mohammedan SC. Lowest PPG and the fewest matches played. It makes you wonder, are they really struggling? Or is this a classic case of, give them time?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It's a great question. And it highlights, a really fascinating aspect of analyzing team performance, which is that there's often, a correlation between a team's longevity in a league and their ability to, consistently rack up points, experience familiarity, that kind of well-oiled machine effect.
Right.
It all kind of plays a role. But, and this is crucial, it's not a guaranteed predictor of future success. So Mohammedan SC, they very well could be in their early stages finding their groove, just like, those teams that we were talking about that have kind of climbed the ranks over time.
Yeah. It's that element of potential, of unknowns that makes it, so exciting to follow a team's journey, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
So now to compare a couple teams with, really different journeys, let's look at Mumbai City FC and Bengaluru FC. They have very similar PPGs, but a huge difference in match experience.
Yeah.
So Mumbai City FC, despite their relatively shorter time in the ISL, they seem to be bunching above their weight a little bit. What might that tell us about their potential future, compared to a team like Bengaluru FC who have that wealth of experience?
That's a really astute observation because you've got, Mumbai City FC coming in strong, they're making a statement, but then you've got Bengaluru FC. They have the experience, they know what it takes to compete at this level, but they'll also need to constantly adapt and innovate to, maintain their position in the league.
Right, yeah.
So it begs the question, will Bengaluru FC's kind of, experience, will that give them an edge? Or will Mumbai City FC's, kind of momentum carry them even higher in the rankings? And that's one of those kind of exciting unknowns that, we get to watch unfold.
Right. And it reminds us that in the world of sports, a winning history doesn't guarantee future victories, right? It's all about continuous evolution.
Exactly. Yeah.
And speaking of teams with a story to tell, let's look at Northeast United FC. They've got a longer history in the ISL, but a lower PPG. What might be happening there?
This is where we have to remember that, data, while incredibly valuable, doesn't tell the whole story.
Right.
We're seeing points on a chart, right? But what about their playing style?
Right.
Have there been, major management shifts or, key player transfers?
Right.
Those factors can have a huge impact on team dynamics and performance. And then, sometimes, I hate to say it, but, sometimes even luck can play a role.
Sure.
So it's about, digging deeper into those nuances to really understand kind of, the full picture.
It's like that saying, stats are like a bathing suit. They reveal a lot.
Yes, but not everything.
I like that. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the ISL, we see that, Mohun Bagan Supergiant is sitting pretty at the top. Then we have this cluster of teams, fiercely vying for dominance, and outliers like Mohammedan SC, keeping us on the edge of our seats. It's a testament to the dynamism, the unpredictability of the league itself.
Precisely. And that's the beauty of the ISL. It's, anyone's game, which leads us to a question, for you to ponder. Yeah. Does a higher PPG automatically equal a better team? Or are there other, equally important factors, like a team's contributions to Indian football, their, inspiring story, their dedicated fan base that shape our perception of success?
Right, because it's more than just the data, right? It's
exactly
the feeling, the history, the fan culture. It's all part of it. So that is something to think about. It's clear that in the ISL, the story goes far beyond just the numbers. There's heart, there's history, and there's a whole lot of passion.
A whole lot.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.